The losses continue. Valiant disappeared yesterday in the middle of the day as I walked away from here for 20 minutes. Disappeared by the time I'm back. So the predator must be close, right under my nose. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to eliminate, I'm just going to get rid of all of these berry bushes and any place where the predator can hide. And then put up all the chicken wire I have and do my best to secure the courtyard, because this is just getting ridiculous. Every other week it seems there's losses, or probably on average it's like one chicken a week that I've been losing. And I think I'm gonna try to borrow an incubator and incubate more. But right now it's just Buttercup is the only rooster over there taking care of his 4 sisters. Which there's Snow on the left, Vanessa is the close one, Wisdom's the far one, and then Hawk is the brown one. So that's the agenda for today, is to eliminate a lot of these like weeds, like everything around that plum tree and all these berry bushes and everything, and then put up a bunch of chicken wire and hopefully eliminate the ability. The predator has already penetrated the courtyard, so they figured out attack vectors, and I don't know where they're coming from or what kind of predator it is, but I'm learning their patterns and gotta adapt. So after a day of weeding, I didn't finish. Like here, these berry bushes are pretty prolific, but you can basically now see all the way to the tire wall here. So cleared out all of this. That's piles of weeds covered with stuff. This is all cleared out along the bottom. So basically, if the predator comes, it has less things to hide behind. That's the idea here. And basically getting visibility all the way up to the edge of the courtyard. So that edge, and then all down around here. And I was thinking maybe it was coming through these pipes here, like sneak attack when they would go by. So this pipe I filled with rocks. And this pipe I stapled some chicken wire over. And then opened up this whole middle area. Cleared off all these tires. And all of these tires. So that there's a lot fewer attack vectors for the predator, but I've got more to do. But this took me all day. Still got 5 chicks left. Good morning. It is Thursday morning here in Allodium. Had a bit of a snap readiness drill for the local Defense Forces militia, and realized in the process how woefully unprepared I am. But also in the process of a readiness drill, I got everything all situated and prepared so that I can be ready in a shorter period of time if the necessity arises. So that's the benefit of doing readiness drills. So that's just a little insight of what it means to, I guess, be sovereign in a way, is that and to retain one's Allodium is that it's one's own responsibility to defend their Allodium, their property, and people have the unalienable right to defend their property. And to be sovereign, one has to be ready to stand in that truth. And the reality of that defense force is what wards off the potential aggressive forces who would seek to predate upon those who are free. So it seems that the readiness drill was maybe unnecessary, but we'll stay at a state of high readiness for probably about another hour or so to pass the critical window, and then just carry on with the day, back to work. Alright, readiness drill complete. I want to show you what I did, I think yesterday, or the day before, is built this shelf. So we got 3 hangers, put them in between the tires, and then that's 2 batches of mortar basically just thrown at the hangers. And the way that I put it up is I screwed the hangers to the piece of wood, then got it in place and used just a stilt thing to hold the angle of the wood right. And then once all the mortar is cured, then I could take the support out. And so today I'll add they're already solid, so I already put stuff on the shelf, got it more organized in here. And so now I'll just add a third coat on them. And at some point the shelf can be scooted out because it's got extra room on the hangers to come out. And maybe put some mortar behind them because there's probably some gaps behind the hangers between that and the mortar. But regardless, it's already a good working shelf, utilizing all those hangers were all recycled, and the board for the shelf was recycled, but it's a nice use of the space. Otherwise, the tires don't really, they're sloped, and then there's spaces in between. They're not really the greatest shelf. So that's a good improvement. And then over here, I've got this antler, and I'm going to mount this antler up there by the door just for like aesthetics, basically. And so this is how I'm going to do that. I've just got stuff leaning against it right now with this rock and the ladder holding it in place. And put this one piece of wire around the back of the antler. And now I'm just going to throw some mortar at that. And then it's really top heavy, so it's going to be difficult to get it to get really mortared in place. But once it is, this will be kind of like a thing on the left to balance out the thing on the right, and I think it'll look cool. And we got this antler, and I don't know what else to do with it, so I think that'll be a good use for it, is like a thing around the door. So we'll see how that goes. So it's later on Thursday up here on the visor. This is how this one section looks after one coat, which is strong enough to walk on. Happy with that. I'm going to end up foaming between the pink board and the other structure to make it more watertight, and then add a second coat to that mortar after I focus on this section over here, which is kind of the last little piece to the puzzle to get all of the water to run off, basically. So there's a little piece that needs to get done here, and then basically figuring out how to get this cement surface, which was waterproofed, to be like waterproof onto, for the water to shed onto this EPDM. So originally it had foam and that leaked a little, so I just put a bunch of silicone on it, sealed some cracks, and did a first coat of stone and mortar in here to fill that up, get it higher. And now I'm gonna finish building this rock wall here, build it up much nicer than this, and then I'm gonna build it right up to the edge of the EPDM. I'm going to mortar over the rock wall and then over the silicone up to the other concrete structure, which it won't form watertight, but I'll be mortared over the silicone, and then once the mortar dries, I'll add silicone on top of that. So it'll be kind of like a double silicone seal. And then otherwise, these big rocks will allow the water to flow under them in the gully here. Might have to bring up some more smaller stones, but I'm going to stack all these now and mortar that and get to it. So So I got that tire covered, got that insulation thing foamed, and then this thing over here is now all mortared with the first coat, and I'm gonna break for food and hit it again after. Check it out. The water feature is past the second step. Now you can tell the steps aren't level because this step is above on one side and below on the other side, but they had to be not level in order to contour to the ground, which isn't level there. But yeah, check it out. It's now all the way over to there. It's shallower on that end. There, it's deeper over there. The reason it turned brown is because some of the water that came from this pipe, which came from the barrel, which came from the visor section, which had all the weeds that I had weeded there, those weeds all started to decompose, and the water coming off of them tainted the color of this. So I removed all those weeds so that the new water is all clean. And at some point, I'm going to have to add some kind of plant feature up here. Like I'm going to, some kind of wetland type plant or something, and then have it water circulate through there so that that will clean the water. As far as I can tell, there's at least 4 fish left. They might all 6 still be there. And it's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but basically it can take about another foot of water before it hits that drain. And then we'll see if I want to raise it further, because it looks like it could go up another 2 feet roughly. But it'll be good that it drains at 1 foot, and then I'll probably have to put some kind of screen on there for the leaves. And at some point I might need to kind of net the leaves out like you would a pool or something, but it's filling. So here's what this section looks like after getting a second coat. It's nice and smooth, and all the water runs off. So the last rain did really well for all the runoff for this section. So there's 2 coats on this section, and a lot of that section just has 1 coat. So, and then over here, this got its second coat, and then it got its silicone seal on it. So basically this whole section here is just about complete. Today my goal is to complete it by adding a second coat of mortar on a lot of that section there and smoothing that out. So that'll be the first task. And then the next task for today, this is where I put all those weeds that I had weeded up by the visor. So we got a big pile of weeds here. And this is the archway opening to the garage. And this pipe here is meant to drain beyond there, but I just saw that there's actually a break in the pipe right here. So project number 2 for today is to focus on this area. I think I'm going to build up some rocks along this rock wall face, and then I might even frame in a window for this archway, or at some point, and then figure out the drainage, fix these pipes. I hadn't cemented them in, I had just stuck them together because I knew it was temporary. So I'll get this pipe drainage to be all fixed going that way and to drain over the edge, and then figure out what to do in this intermediate section where the weeds are, whether this will be a kind of water absorption place because there are trees growing out of it, or whether I'll figure out a way to get the water to shed. But that's project number 2 for the day. So now I'll get to it and probably check in once I've got a better idea over here and I've finished the other side. And then the third thing, before I actually get to the work today, it's Saturday morning, by the way, is this antler. So I haven't really tested it yet, but this will be the test. We'll see if it falls and if it's a failure or if it holds up there. There's the rock that was holding it in place, and woohoo, it stands. The antler is there. So yeah, that's a cool little aesthetic feature. So we got another coat on all of this, so it's all got at least 2 coats and connects, and that'll be strong enough for now. I'll just have to get coat of waterproof after it's all cured. And then over here, I've cleared out 2.5 trees roughly and exposed this whole area. I've figured out a plan here, so I built up a little rock wall right here to add to, well, to make that level and to make it a little higher, putting gravel up against the structure for drainage. And both of these pipes are sloped properly. I just gotta connect them and then reinforce underneath with stone. But the first step is to wet this little stone wall and then mortar that, get a first coat on that. So from above, that little rock wall gives me room to build a French drain type thing to fill that with gravel to support the pipe and improve the drainage there. And then on this side, here's how it looks. So it is taller on one side because it was kind of at a slant, and keep in mind that white pipe is sloped to drain down to the right. So I'll let that dry for a day before I'm going to end up putting I think a pressure treated 2x6 on that to be able to frame in a window. So today's Sunday. Sunday morning, I got a second coat of mortar on this little wall on both sides, and then backfilled it with stone. So with just the one coat of mortar from yesterday, it's solid enough to hold back the stone. And then the stone I just put in there right after I did the next coat of mortar, without like waiting for it to dry or anything, but it's all okay because it has enough strength. And then the stone gets under this pipe for support, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do next. So from this side you can see the little stone wall with the second coat over it. And I got a 2x6 to just fit up there without having to cut it. You can see I got the bigger cracks filled, or just like stone up in there. And then I should be able to use crushed stone for the rest of it to get mortar up to that on the far side. And then we'll let that dry for a bit. And then once it's solid enough from the far side, then come from this side, throwing the mortar from underneath, and then the board there will have support on two sides. So once the far side is mortared up, there's a lot smaller gap between the board and this, so I can't do it yet, but once the mortar dries a bit on the far side, we'll see if I can give you a quick peek of that. Maybe you can see it, I don't know. But basically it's just like a half bag of mortar, and the rocks are sloped onto that. So I don't know, probably like 6 hours, 4 hours or something. That'll be hard enough to be able to throw mortar at from this side to get the support underneath the board. And then it's in on that corner, and then just got to get that corner, and then can basically frame to it for still not certain if I'm actually going to put a window in right now, or I might just leave it like that, or I don't know, we'll see. So next step is to work on this column here, cover up all these tires and give it a little more reinforcement into that base thing that I did a couple weeks ago. And covering up the tires will help to accentuate the new antler too. The fountain now has a bit of circulation so that the water can filter and aerate some, and hopefully some of that brown will come out of it. But until this is planted, it's not going to really get filtered too much. Oh, and I'm incubating eggs. I'll show you that. I was just going to give you the audio of what this new water feature sounds like. Running water all the time. Here's the egg incubator. 10 eggs. Day 1. Or day 0 maybe even. I don't know, but I think the humidity is a bit too high. I'm going to open this up all the way. Get the humidity down. What do you think, Utan? Your gorgeous fishy? Checking it out. So I'll have some... You gotta keep the generation of new chickens coming faster than the predators are killing them. It's Monday morning, and I woke up to white feathers all over the place. And I was like, oh no. There must have been another attack, and they're everywhere. Up here there's another batch of them. And then up here, they're everywhere. All through here. So I think what happened is, unless the chickens are starting to molt now, but oh well, I thought at first that Mimi was dead, because she's the last all-white chicken, and I saved her once, and I love her tons. She's one of my favorite girls. But then, and she's been sleeping outside away from the rest of the chickens. But there she is. She's okay. Then I checked everyone else. I think everyone else is okay, luckily. And I think that there was an attack, but because I've weeded everything so well, maybe they attacked over here, and then they might have chased all the way over there, and then maybe even into the coop, I'm not sure. But everyone's still alive. So, that's good news. And of the 10 eggs I'm incubating, I think 7 or 8 are from Sammy here. So I incubated her and her sister Spot, who recently got gotten by the predator. But at least Spot got to have all those chickies first and be a mama. So now Sammy will have her babies too. She's not going to have any babies. No babies for you. And I think they're both offsprings of Mimi. So Mimi's a grandma. But so that was a scare for the morning, but I think everyone's okay. And I just got more supplies, and I'm going to do one more day of work before the weekly report is over, or reported, whatever, you know what I'm saying. So I didn't get too much done today. Monday after the supply trip, kind of took it easy, but got a little bit more done. So this is a third coat under there. So once that, and on the corner there, there's a little bit of lath. That's going to keep it in place. I mortared over. So that's kind of like a finish for this windowsill, basically. And I'm basically just going to leave it like that. So this is about where, as far as, it's basically complete for this year. I'm not going to put a window in. I'm going to leave it open. And next year I'll probably close in this whole structure. Then just did a good bit of mortar over here. This is the cat tunnel from this side, from the garage side, looking through the tunnel to the other side. So I got that all mortared and connected better. And get those out of there. It's just about done. And then just a little bit more reinforcing over here. And then working on, so this pillar is basically all covered with mortar, but I want to really build up the base to help support this whole column. So I've started to do that on the bottom with just mortar and stone, and I'm going to end up doing quite a bit more to support this whole corner, because it's on this face, it's leaning in, but on this face it's slightly out because of that over the door, that like 1 foot or whatever. So adding this will help reinforce the column so that it can't, on the bottom it can't move, and then it can't tilt out, and the cracks here reveal how it had moved like a millimeter or two previously, and the cracks reveal the stress of the forces so that I can properly apply the mortar reinforcement afterwards. So I'm just going to add a little bit more stone up to the top area above that window and call it a day. And this will be the end of the weekly video. Thank you for watching. Oh, and the fountain has, having the fountain running has cleared up the water there a good bit as well. See you later. Come back, come back. Come back. Can you come back too? Somebody just used the kitty tunnel for the very first time. Come back in, down here. Can you come down? Come here. Kitty. Come to the tunnel. Where'd you go? Kitty?